James Nelson Whaley is my name. I was born in Jay, Florida, 1937, and the doctor come to the house and delivered me. So the whole house is still standing, nobody live in it, but anyway. And I went to work at Kim Strand in 1955. I turned 18 that year and put my application in and hired in April the 12th, I believe, 55. And I was born and raised in Jay, Florida, finished high school in 1954. Took some mechanical drawing classes at PJC. I was in a sheet metal shop. That really helped my job there, you know, isometric view, reading prints, and that mechanical drawing really helped me. And I was approached. I don't remember the year that I first joined the credit union, but a board member asked me to, what about running for the board? I said, well, okay. So I ran for the board. I forget the year. I didn't get elected that year. We always had the meetings down here. We met in the gym back then, and most of the board members were local. Me living in Jay, I got a few members to come down, you know. Rufus Caton died the following, just after the vote, or in other words, they needed somebody to replace the ones that got elected that year, and then Rufus passed away. So I was the next vote getter, so I was put on the board to finish out that term year, and I ran the next year and got elected. And then I think my next term, I got beat. Like I say, living in Jay and all my life, and the local boys, you know, down this way had more people there. And everybody had a tendency to then vote for the incumbents, you know, and that, just like maybe elections today, you ask somebody, hey, what about so-and-so? Yeah, he's doing, you know, real good, so. But anyway, I ran again later by request and got elected then. And but I moved to Milton in 1992. Lived on the golf course there at Tanglewood. I enjoyed playing golf, and I built the house in '92 and retired in '93. Got my wife playing, and so we, you know, got our own cart and load up and go play golf. Like I say, that's about it as far as my experience, and I think I'm the youngest member on the board right now, and I got probably 20 plus years, you know. But I've enjoyed working with the credit union. I remember when I first got on the board, they put you on the credit committee. You usually had 2 or 3. We didn't have a loan manager at the time, and you'd review the credit thing sometime. If it was borderline, you know, they'd ask us to approve it. But back then, you had to be a member. You had to work at the plant to be a member, and we had payroll deductions. So if their credit limit was okay, you could pretty well, it was a good loan, evidence, because if they didn't pay, you could take it out of the check, you know. So. But anyway, I enjoyed that part. And then I forgot to tell you, I'm a secretary right now, and on the board. And everybody that worked there was pretty young. You know, I was hired in at 18, you know, and the credit union really, I borrowed money a time or two to buy a refrigerator or whatever, you know, and it really helped the people working there and the community, you know. I worked hired in the yarn department, which was spinning. At the time I hired in 55, you're pretty tall, ain't you? I said, yes, sir, 6'5". So they said, you can reach the thread line without standing on the cake board. I had no idea what they was talking about, but it had to do with the dolphin putting the thread line on the bobbin, you know. And but back then you took a test, I forget, Wonderlic or something, anyway, you know, I made good enough to, you know, go into any department, but they just, whatever, and they put me in the yarn department, which was shift work. So went on A shift and worked till January of the next year. And me and my buddy was on graveyard one night. We drove carpool from Jay, and we said, we need to get on days, So we put in applications for, I think I put in for electrical instruments and shops. And about a week later, got a call, and I was transferred to the sheet metal shop in the 710 building, and worked there the rest of my working years. I was a scheduler about the last year and a half. We had the sheet metal machine shop, fab shop, valve shop, all in the 710 building, and I handled work orders for each shop for the last part of my career. Being in the sheet metal shop, we worked all over the plant, doing air conditioning, duct work, and anything pertaining to metal. And as you know, back then the shifts were it was 8 hours, but it was like graveyard, But later on, they went to 12-hour shifts, which I understand the people working shift enjoyed that more because you didn't work but like 3 days, 12-hour shifts. We moved to days. We still carpool, and I eventually, the guy we was riding with got transferred to shifts. He was on days, and he worked in yarn maintenance, and he got put on shifts. He said, hey, I got to go on shifts next Monday. We need to drive the van. And I said, but let's sell it, whatever y'all want to do. So we had like 11 riders, 12 passenger van. And I told them all, there was some guys from Atmore carpooling, 5 of them in a car. They bought a car together. I told them, I said, hey, let's buy this van and we'll take turns driving it a week, we'll. Okay, I said, that's probably the best way economically. And they said, well, hey, ain't you on that credit union, ain't you? I said, yes, sir. They said, well, you get the loan for us and we'll all. Okay. So anyway, I got the loan and started driving, but I wound up owning it. Nobody else chipped in, but everybody was getting older and all, and you saw the new products they invented, where AstroTurf that come about during the early years, and we were still growing for several years, but later on the yarn, the nylon part fell off. I think the demise of that was the military had them, and if they caught a fire, they'd really burn, so nylon, back then everybody wore nylon shirts and all, and since the military uniforms, they had a problem with fire, that nylon would just melt, So the nylon part of the yarn business, went away mostly. Then the tire cord and carpet became more popular later. That's about all I remember as far as, the plant changing. The credit union, yeah, we continued to grow. Well, like I say, at the time we joined, we were small. We had our meetings at the plant. Our annual meeting was in the gymnasium there. As we began to grow, we started, we got a loan officer, actually, I think this is the first building we built outside. We caught a little flack for spending all that money for this lot, and from some of the older members, they want you to, don't spend all that much money, you need to return it in dividends, But anyway, we survived, and it was a good move to get once you grow, you gotta compete with other people. And then I was there when we went federal, our plant base kept shrinking over the years, so we had to open it up to get some younger members, and I think that worked real well. And you know, we went through several managers, and we were fortunate enough to get Rutledge here the last few years, and it's really been a pleasure serving on the board, because he's really made us grow and come up with some ideas that cost savings and stuff that's really helped the credit union. So that's the best thing we've done, getting him. So it's easy now being a board member. So, yeah, like I say, we started in the gym there at the plant. You know, we always had the prize drawings for, and the coffee and donuts for social visits, and that tended to bring out more people. And then once we got bigger, been at the fairgrounds a time or two. The last few years we've been at the Haggai Temple. And we did serve food a couple of times, best I remember, you know. And of course everybody liked that, but it got to be you know, it's kind of a chore. And then after the economy went down, you know, we tried to kind of be, everybody had to be a little more conservative with stuff. We still give away the prizes, and but it seemed like all the members is older. We see a few young people attending, but most of our members that come to the annual meeting are the older people that come for whatever reason, maybe the prize drawings, and you know, some interest in the running. You know, I guess knowledge, or you know, knowing how the system works, that's one advantage of long-term members, and just dedication, I guess, because just like Vance, you know, he lived in Cantonment until he retired and moved to down south. He jumps to every meeting still, you know, which you've got to enjoy it or love it to do that, I suppose. The meetings now, you know, I think we serve, you know, we still have refreshments and the prizes, but we've tightened up a little bit on stuff, you know. That the brick and mortar, as we call it, is probably where we probably need to be right now, and and we're developing the technology for online, I guess, or I can't think of the correct word for that. But that's going to be the young folks, you know, do the transactions with the cell phones and all. So even you know, I use online banking for bill pay and all that myself now. I finally got where I can do that, and you don't really have to walk into a teller, you know, if you keep up, if you got all the stuff. So I think that's going to be our best growth areas, to stay up with the technology for online banking and attract people, you know, the younger folks. So, like I say, all our board members are getting older, so I won't say leave, but you got to have a odd number, you know. You can't have even, so we adjust it, you know. So I think the board, yeah, I think 9's a good number. Or some boards are 7, but I think going a little smaller. Most of the people that's on the board now, you know, been there a long time and want to continue. So it's got to be a attrition rate, you know. So.
Well, you got to be proud of what you built here. I mean,
yes, sir.
The foundation you set will go on many years, I would think.
Yep, that's you know, in fact, we just had an audit and all. We get good numbers. And like I say, I attribute a lot of that to Rutledge. He's really helped us get the bottom line all right, especially in this economy, you know. Hopefully everybody will, maybe after the election, the economy will pick back up, hopefully. Well, thank you.